Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to round 2 of the Reservoir Dawgs Open lead card coverage at Old Trace Park. Hole 1, par 3, 407 feet, dogleg right, OB all along the right, no OB to the left, or OB long either. Preferred shot would be the forehand, or if you're a lefty, you just cheat and do a backhand. Kyle Gray up first. Very good shot, about 40 feet short of the pin. He's got to look at birdie, but not going to be amazing. Up next, Josh Coghill. OB all over that fence in front of that building there, so you do have to hang this out a little bit left, but you do have to get very far right. So Josh throwing an amazing shot here. Up next, Isaac Mangrum. Isaac throwing a little bit too far wide, and he does hit that tree, and it knocks him straight down. Up next, Mason McKay. Mason was extremely hard to film because he is so fast. He just makes up his mind and he does what he wants to. And here he's throwing out an amazing shot. This was parked. If you can do that, that's what you want to do every single time. Here we go, Isaac. Very hard to see the basket from here. As you can see, he's really cut off. There's a clump of trees right in the line where you want to throw a nice wide forehand hyzer. So you basically got to carry over OB, and he performs this shot perfectly, just getting to the left of that little crepe myrtle tree. We have Kyle Gray. Outside circle 1 here, giving it a good bid, but just comes up a little bit short and fades too early. Mason McKay chains it in for birdie. This is a great birdie to get on such a tough hole. 407 feet, not a gimme at all. Isaac, a little bit outside the circle for par, and absolutely laser beamed it. Isaac was deadly from within the circle, and even slightly outside the circle. Josh Coghill, CTP. Unfortunately, no CTP bonus here, but rewarded an amazing shot with a great birdie. Up next, hole 2. Oh, I got a little bit ahead of myself. Forgot about Kyle Gray's par putt here. Sorry about that, Kyle. Didn't mean to do you like that. Hole 2, par 3, 180 feet. This is an ace run hole all day, every day. Josh Coghill up first. This is a great shot for it. Nice little wide hyzer coming in. A little bit of skip, a little bit of ground play, but he's absolutely parked about 4 or 5 feet. Mason McKay just walks up, throws his shot. Absolutely parked as well. Just absolutely amazing. I mean, this is a very short hole. This is what you expect from the lead card. Kyle Gray with his precious child, the pig. Throwing a little more straight at it, kind of going for the ace. Doesn't get punished by going OB. There is OB over that little sidewalk, but such a short hole. It's really hard to go OB off the tee. Isaac throwing a little bit too low. He does get some good ground play, but ends up pretty far short. Edge of circle 2 probably. And a nice jump putt at it. Great line, just slightly too short. Isaac for par. It is very painful to get par on such an easy hole. You know you're losing strokes to the whole field when you get anything other than birdie here. Kyle Gray with his short stabby putt right into the basket. Mason McKay. That was the sound of chains, but I made it with my voice. And Josh Coghill, all birdied. Birdie, par. Hole 3, par 3, 276 feet. Pretty far downhill. I'd say it's probably a 15-foot decline. This is a great play. the nice wide forehand takes those trees and it takes the OB right over the fence out of play. And Josh, of course, parking the hole. Absolute tap in here. Mason McKay stepping up, executing the shot as he does. Kyle, of course, being a big fan of being on camera, gets in front of it. Here he is with his precious child, the pig. Throwing a great line. And just a little bit far of the basket, but it's 8-9 feet. Isaac lining up the backhand. This does bring those trees and the OB fence into play if you turn it over a little bit too much, but of course he wouldn't do that. Unfortunately, this shot does go long behind the basket about 15 feet. As you can see, we've got that concrete, and that concrete is OB, and the water is of course OB. Kyle Gray tapping in his birdie. All of our players essentially in circle one. Mason McKay tapping in his birdie. Isaac taking his relief from the OB, tapping in his par. And Josh Coghill, of course, who parked it. An amazing shot. On to hole 3. Or hole 4, par 3, 310 feet. This is just a typical right-hand backhand hyzer all day, every day. Just throw it out nice and wide. Zoom the camera in on the lake for some reason instead of going to where the shot is. Well done. I, of course, filmed this. Mason McKay just stepping up, throwing his shot. Really hard to film him. And once again, I zoomed in way far on the lake there, but they're both parked, if you couldn't see. Kyle Gray, letting me take some time to get him in frame, thankfully. Also throws an amazing shot. Nice and straight. With a little bit of hookup there. It's probably about 18, 20 feet. Like Mangrum. As you can see, a little bit of rain. Didn't affect our players too much, thankfully. Man, this just looked so pretty. It looked like he barely threw that, but he's absolutely parked. Mason McKay, inside circle 1, just on the edge.
Boy, Mason.
As we'd expect from our MPO lead card, he chains it in. Oh, great. Also getting the birdie. Isaac from 8 or 9 feet away. There was no question he was going to get that, of course. And Josh for the star frame. Taking his time. And of course, on a laser beam line. Hole 5, par 3, 301 feet. This is almost the same shot that you would throw on that last hole. Just a nice, simple right-hand backhand hyzer. Or you could always just go straight at it.
Oh, that's gotta go.
Josh throwing this nice and wide. Giving a good go at it. It's about 20, 22 feet. Mason McKay. Going a little bit straighter at it. No, I'm totally wrong. I couldn't see it on the video. Also throwing it out wide and just gets a nice spot there. If I recall, he's about 15 feet to the basket. Now Kyle actually threw quite straight at it and just didn't get quite enough fade. But he's pin high. No harm, no foul there. Isaac. Isaac always took his time on his shots. He never rushed things. I really like that about him. For me, I tend to kind of do the Mason McKay thing, like, okay, this is what I'm doing, do it. And all of our players just on the edge of circle 1 here. Or on the edge and inside, of course. Isaac getting a great outside circle 1 putt from this birdie. Mason up next, just a little bit closer inside the circle here. Taking his time. Oh, unfortunately chaining out. Josh Coghill. Taking his time. He saw that spit out and he's like, I don't want any of that. Unfortunately, that's what he gets. Oh, just a little bit too far left. Kyle Gray, also too far left. Oh. Isaac turning the tides. He casts that voodoo on them. He gets the birdie, they get the par this time. But no harm, no foul, no bogeys. All par and 1 birdie. Hole 6, par 3, 297 feet. This one is a pretty straight tunnel shot with OB right behind the trees there. There's some water. If you're wet, you're OB. I decided to do a catch cam sort of style for this. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. I expected our players to be a lot better than they ended up being. So we get a couple shots to our right, their left here in these trees. No OB though, thankfully. So it's just very obstructed. Here we get 1 shot coming in. Ending up a little bit on the edge, so he's got a little bit of a look. Nice little hyzer backhand or flex forehand to get out of there. This was Mason throwing this incredible shot here. Just a little bit short. And I believe this one was Kyle. Yep, just catching a little bit of that tree right there, otherwise he would have been parked. So he does end up outside of circle 1. We have Isaac. We couldn't really see his shot, unfortunately. Bad camera work on my part. But he's very obstructed. Got that big clump of trees right there in the way in front of his way to the basket. He gets a great flexing run at this little Anheuser jump putt there. And he ends up parked for his par. Josh Coghill. Really leaning out, trying to get as far away from these trees and get a nice open look at the basket. It's a nice little touchy flex forehand. Parks the basket, of course. Kyle Gray, birdie. Unfortunately, just fading out too early. Mason McKay. Can he save the card? Yes. And of course, the rest of our players just tapping out their pars. Back there we can see chase card. Hole 7, par 3, 271 feet. Up first, Mason scoring the only birdie, on our card at least. This hole, as you can see, wide open. Do whatever you want. Backhand hyzer, right hand backhand hyzer is a typical play, but you can do forehand, you can do lefty. Really whatever you want. No OB. Unless you go way far down the hill to the right there. and go in the water, but otherwise,
Go in.
this was a great ace line. Unfortunately, missing it just a little bit off.
Dude.
Josh Coghill just a little bit left, but that's about pin high, so
Someone needs to silence their phone back there.
got a great run. Got that great look at the basket. Kyle Gray with his pig once again. Must be nice to have that kind of power.
Oh,
Nice and straight. Nice hookup.
nice shot.
Boom, apart. Mason, edge of circle one, just outside. Unfortunately, extremely short. It's not like it was a death putt either, just must have slipped out of his hand, unfortunately. Josh, inside the circle. Got a 25-footer maybe? Also coming up just a little bit short. Trying to wipe the bad shot from his eye. Kyle Gray tapping in the birdie. And unfortunately failing to pick up his pig. Not what you'd come to expect from a lead card player, you know? Just a real shame. Isaac for birdie. That white flag under the basket is CTP. I believe that was our good friend Chad Sherbert. Rest of our players tapping in their pars. Isaac and Kyle with the birdies. Getting strokes on folks here. Unfortunately, not many folks, because pretty sure a lot of other people got those birdies. Mason a bit frustrated with that. Hole 8, par 4, 516 feet. Most people go for the placement shot here. This pretty simple backhand hyzer. Get about 300 feet layup for birdie. There is a Mando, as you can see from that red sign there to the tree. Isaac missed it, but on the card we didn't see that, so no harm, no foul. And he did end up in a great spot there. The basket's basically straight from the tee box. If you follow the line of the tee box and just throw straight and manage to get there 500 feet, you would be at the basket. But with that Mando, you do have to go a little bit left. Kyle finding the flex forehand here. And absolutely lacing it. This is just beautiful. Just beautiful. Mason, he saw what Kyle did. He's like, ooh, that was pretty good. Way too far to the right. Very clearly missing the Mando, and he will proceed to the drop zone. Josh Coghill. Mason ended up in one of our local player Jerry's backyard. Good friend of the local club, and just a great dude. Always happy to return people's discs. Josh Coghill with a great flip-up shot. This was the best shot that I've ever seen, and I'm so glad we got this on coverage. This was perfect. Mason, this was him walking up, choosing the shot, and just executing it. He walked over, put his bag down, picked up his disc, threw it, ready to go. Isaac, probably about 150, 200 feet away. Pretty obstructed, all these trees and all this brush in the way. Gets a little bit short. Does end up with a look. Nice long birdie putt. Kyle Gray. Once again, the pig in hand. Giving this a little bit of a bid for eagle, but parking it probably about 10 feet away. Josh Coghill for eagle. Got a nice 45-footer or so. Giving a great run. Flashing chains. Unfortunately not hitting any. Let me see where Isaac landed. very obstructed. There's that big bushy tree there to the left in front of him. Trying to go around it. He's coming up a little bit short. Mason, great par save. Kyle for birdie. Just a little bit too far left. And does chain out. Josh for birdie. I'm just a little bit closer than Kyle. And he does chain it. Isaac tapping in his par. And Kyle tapping in his par. Unfortunate to lose a stroke there to the lead. Hole 9, par 3, 384 feet. Probably the second hardest hole on the course. It is pretty far downhill. There's OB right over that fence. This is a great line at the basket, and he does end up pin high. He actually ends up a little bit further up the hill there. So it's downhill till you get to the basket, and then 15 feet in front of the basket, it goes uphill by about 3-4 feet. Isaac, before this shot, said he's going to go for the scary line, throwing a big wide hyzer over OB the whole way, and of course, pin high.
Okay, I never saw a kick.
Spiking in.
Right in the middle.
Okay.
No nasty rollaways.
Third.
Kyle going a little bit straighter at it. Less OB. And this thing had some zip, as you'll see. Just look at this huge skip. Just a double flare. And he ended up about as far as Josh did. Mason walking up, going a little too far inside, does catch that guardian tree and just kicks him down right there, but no big deal. Easy 3. Yep. Lands up there by, I believe that's Josh. Isaac for birdie. No doubt. No doubt at all. Perfect commitment. We have Josh. As you can see, his shot looked like it would be about pin high, but or no, it was pin high. But I mean to say under the basket, but he skipped up pretty far. And of course, as we come to expect from Josh, he does get the birdie. We've got Mason for par. Up next, Kyle Gray. I really like his short stabby putt. It's always on line. And here we have the end. Kyle Gray 5 under, Josh Coghill 6 under, Isaac Mangrum 4 under, and Mason McKay 1 under.